Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner, and in this video I have for you guys a Cardfight Vanguard deck profile, and it is going to be on the Sanctuary Guard Dragon deck that has, well, skyrocketed in popularity as of late. I thought this deck coming out was going to be just a pretty fun alternative playing Thingsaver and Friends, but I figured that the Thingsaver would still be the predominant version of Royal Paladins to play. Oh boy, was I ever wrong. This deck has emerged now as the best variation of Royal Paladin, and arguably the second best deck in the format. It's definitely the fastest deck in the format, and that's freaking scary when you're able to outspeed Aqua Force. And it's pretty strong against a lot of other decks. Its bad matchups are Link Joker and things that can rush it down too, but you have great matchups against control decks like Kagero and Arakami, as you're able to just burn through their resources as it takes time for them to set up. And with that being said, I'm just going to get right into this. So yeah, this is a Sanctuary Guard Dragon Stride deck, and let's begin with the starter, Shining Knight Milas. He's the Generation Break 1 starter for Royal Paladins, and his effect is pretty simple. Card +1, put him to the soul, call a grade 2. And given that this deck is running a pretty good grade 2 lineup, his effect is going to be a good value. He's also 5k booster at worst, so he does allow you to hit for numbers when you can't stride because your opponent's trying to grade lock you, grade stuck themselves on you, which is something that happens more frequently now. Then for the main Vanguard, I'm running 4 copies of Sanctuary Guard Dragon, and holy crap, this guy's ballooned in price. Like, it's insane. I bought these guys at about $8, and now he's pushing 30 because of how good this deck is. Sanctuary Guard Dragon has 2 effects, one of which is Limerick 4, which will not be relevant that often, but it's still there in case you get rushed to 4 damage or what have you. So its first effect is during your turn he gets plus 3,000 for each of your grade 1 or less Royal Paladin rear guards. So if you happen to have at least your booster behind him, then he's going to be plus 3 plus this, so that makes him plus 8. With the 11, that's actually 21,000. Allowing you hit for magic numbers. Awesome. And his other skill is when you ride him, you can pitch a Royal Paladin from your hand in order to call a grade 1 Royal Paladin or less unit from your deck. And there are a couple good grade 1s worth calling. Obviously, we have running the Sword Me engine here, so all of his targets. And we even have our own Swordbreaker like Kai. So, yeah, that's what Sanctuary Guard Dragon does for the deck. I like how this guy's effects are irrelevant to your opponent being on grade 3 a lot or not. If you have your Limerick enabler, then his Limerick is live. His second effect is live the moment you ride him, so you don't mind going first or second with this deck. In fact, going first is actually preferable with this deck. Why? Because of your ability to rush on your grade 2 turn, because of Sword Me and Violinist. So this is one of those decks that can play on both sides of the fence, which is something that I like, and Sanctuary Guard Dragon enables that. Then for the backup grade 3, I'm running 3 copies of Sanctuary Guard Guarantee. This card is not that great. The main reason why you play this is because it's another Sanctuary Guard and you need a Sanctuary Guard name for your stride. But his effects are not good. Generation Break 1, when he attacks the Vanguard, he gains plus 3 for each of your grade 1 or less rear guards, so he's a weaker Sanctuary Guard Dragon in that aspect. And Counterblast 1, when he attacks the Vanguard, or rather when he attacks, you can Counterblast 1 to give him plus 3, so he becomes 13, but that's also not good. 10,000 is a bit amp, but it does enable Madu access. I just don't have the card on me at the moment. But yeah, no, it's just this guy is inferior to Sanctuary Guard Dragon in every way. But you run him because you kind of have no choice. And that's for the grade 3s. I'm not running Ultimal. I don't like him, and I haven't had a chance to experiment with Thingsaver Dragon as a backup Vanguard. Honestly, this deck is so vast that it doesn't need Thingsaver to be in there. You can get by without it, which is actually very scary. But there is a variant out there that just runs 4 Sanctuary Guard Dragons and 4 Thingsaver Dragons. And on paper, that sounds very neat. Then for the grade 2s, which you run very many of, 4 copies of Knight of Twin Sword. He is the Amber clone for the deck, so when he attacks the Vanguard, Generation Break 1, boosted, Counterblast 1, do things. In this case, it's called grade 2 of the deck. So it enables you to call a grade 2 to make a board, or if you already have a board, he enables an extra attack, which is very important with your main stride. And more often than not with this guy, you will be calling out the infamous Cancer Cat itself, Sword Me, Polo Joe's favorite. So we all know what this guy does at this point. Counterblast 1 Jewel Knight, call a grade 1 or less Jewel Knight. He makes 16k columns by himself. He can help you make certain columns, like if your Vanguard's booster got killed, you can call something behind the Vanguard so it can swing, or if you happen to call Violinist, you can call a unit behind it so that Violinist can swing for a decent amount, and Swordman can swing at 9 if your opponent's on 7 or 9, which is why I'm running 2 copies of Violinist. He's basically a 5th and 6th copy of Sword Me, as he gets me 2 Sword Me, which then gets me a unit. And yeah, it's just part of the rush play. He's awful as the game goes on, as he needs Counterblast and Soul, and honestly, this guy's just better. It's just this guy can get you these guys to enable your combo plays. And he does work when you ride him on Vanguard. It's just that AK attack us. Yeah. So that's why I'm not running very many of him. And then finally for the grade 2s, 2 copies of Transmigration Knight Braid. He's your Generation Break 1 12k attacker, which in this deck is very, very good, as he can hit for some insane numbers with Sanctuary Guard Regalia. But yeah, just the 2 copies of him because he's not viable early game, whereas I want Sword Me early, and Knighted Twin Sword is okay early game, but I want him for my combo plays. So that's it for the grade 2 lines. For the grade 1s, it's not that much different from my Thing Saver Jewel Knight deck. 4 Perfect Guard Gs, you need the damage on flip. 4 Stride Fodders, you need to stride ASAP in this deck, so you need the 4 of them. 3 Cymbeline, rest it when you have 3 or more Jewel Knight rear guards, give something plus 10,000 power, so 19,000 Sword Me's anyone. 2 Limit Break Removers, and then finally 1 copy of Sword of Hope Richard. He's an older promo card, but he's basically a sword breaker for the deck, so when you call him out of the deck, Soul Blast 1, draw a card. He is what you want to call off a Sanctuary Guard when you ride it, as you can just pitch any dead card in hand, like a Regalia that you don't want to ride or anything. You can just pitch this, call this, Soul Blast 1, draw a card. Pretty nice card. I might run a second copy, but I think the 1 is just fine. I'd rather have the 4th one of this, or an extra one of these, as opposed to another one of these, because the moment you draw this thing, it's bad, and I don't want to like bog myself down with extra copies. Then for the triggers, it's pretty straightforward as well. I'm running the Jewel Knight suite, so 8 crits, 4 draws. These will be replaced with the new crit trigger that's coming out in set 4, as its effect is very, very good. It's a recyclable crit trigger that you can call off a Sword Me if you run out of Sword Me targets. Can't complain about that. And finally 4 heal. Then for the strides, let's just get right into the big guy himself. 3 copies of Sanctuary Guard Regalia. So this guy's effect is pretty simple. If you have a Sanctuary Guard Heart, your front row gains +3 for every grade 1 or less rear guard. So with a full back row, that's plus 9,000 to the front. Remember how good Conquest Dragon is, and why his effect has allowed Narukami to be really, really good in the format? Yeah, this guy is basically Conquest Dragon, except for 3 turns. Granted, you aren't hitting for the same guard bracket as Conquest Dragon, +10 versus +9, but it's still requiring a minimum 15k guard from your opponent to take your rear guard lines. And with your 12k attacker, you are in fact swinging for the 20k guard line. So he allows you to be very aggressive the moment you stride, and with certain rear guard combos, you can just force out a lot of cards that I'll show you guys in a moment. But let's get the rest of this extra deck done first. 2 copies of Saint Below Dragon. He's just in there as a finisher. I was running more of these at first, but I found that I was going to this guy way more and just using this guy sparingly. Like, in theory, you should actually kill your opponent by the time you get to your 3rd Regalia, unless they just happen to have that much hand advantage or you weren't able to do a whole lot. They should be dead by your 3rd stride. So this just ensures that they are dead. And then I'm running 2 copies of Gablade. He's in here if I need to build a board. If my start was slow and I was only able to just ride a 1 and a 2 and I wasn't able to get my aggression on, I can stride into this guy, swing, hit, call out a Knight Twin Sword or a Starlight Violinist, and who calls out a Twin Sword or a Sword Me, and then just get going that way so that the following turn I'm able to start rushing with this. Or if I'm playing against a control deck like Kagero or Narukami or Gear Chronicle, I can call back the units that they take away. Which is the one nice thing about this particular build of Royal Paladins, is that you're able to keep up, or rather, you're able to keep calling the things that they kill because of your grade 2 lineup. And lastly, 1 copy of Blizza is just a big finisher, because you're probably going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strides like that. So you'll have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25,000, 30,000 when you swing with this guy. So he becomes really big and scary. And yeah, that's it for like the main build itself. Just give me a moment to quickly rearrange my cards, and I'll show you guys just a little bit of how this deck can function. So, as mentioned before, Regalia requires you to have a Sanctuary Guard Dragon Heart, so we'll just stride on this. So now, all your grade 1 or less units that you have in play will give you your front line plus 3,000 power. And a typical combo of this deck will be, you have Knight of Twin Sword in play, you happen to have, say you called this, and you use them to call this. So, you happen to already have grade 1 lines because you probably called Sword Muse earlier and they just happen to have been retired. So, there. And we'll call this guy there. And we'll just do that. So, there. Here's our field setup. So, yeah. What you can do here is, first off, since you have the 3 guys, everything's plus 9,000 power, so this is a, hang on a second, doing math here, this is a 25, this is a 24, this is a 31 plus 9, so this is a 40 line. So yeah, you're going to be attacking for 24, they 15k block it, then you can attack with this, whatever happens happens. Like, let's pretend that we whiff on all 3 checks because it's me playing. Then we attack with this guy, counterblast 1. You call a Sword Me out of the deck, who then activates his skill, and then you call another grade 1 or less Jewel Knight out of the deck. So I have to find my grade 1 or less card pool. And then you get to attack with this for a 25,000. So you've done 24, 25, 40, 25. That's pretty demanding of the opponent. Or, say you happen to already have your Sword Me in play. You could do another route, which is attack with the Sword Me unboosted. It's 9,000 plus 9,000, so he's swinging for 28. And then you can attack with Regalia. Triggers you can stack on here and the power on here, because when this guy attacks, you're going to activate his skill, counterblast 1, and call out a Transmigration Knight, who will be by itself with this guy swinging for 28,000, but if you happen to stack triggers on it, then you're swinging for 33, which is a 25,000 guard bracket, which is nice to have. And you have the crits on this guy, so they have to block this, and they have to deal with this, which, yeah, it just demands your opponent block it. And, yeah, that's like the main play of the deck, is just comboing with those things. I already mentioned about this guy's on ride skill. You ride this guy, pitch a grade 3, or just pitch a dead card that you don't need. It's like, oh, I don't want to use Starlight Violinist now. You can just pitch this and call this down, Soul Blast 1, draw a card. Oh, look, it's a Sword Me. Okay, I'll just call this here, Counterblast 1, call a unit behind it. And now I'm good to go. Oops. Or yeah, just call this down. Oh, hey, my Limit Break's in play. Plus 6,000. Now I'm swinging for 17. I'm boosted. Awesome. And yeah, that's basically the premise of the deck. It's very aggressive, very fast, and very fun to play. Unfortunately, it's not cheap anymore. You pretty much would have had to pick up Sanctuary Guards while they were inexpensive because of him being pricey now. I don't even know what Regalia's, what this guy's going for. He's probably still very cheap because he's Fighters Collection. I'm just not sure about Guarantee. I ordered mine for not very much, because I didn't think it was going to go up. Hopefully it should still be inexpensive. It's just Sanctuary Guard Dragon is hard to find because of his Mega Trial deck being, well, $30 by itself. And I don't know if it's widely available, but yeah, that's it for the deck. I would recommend giving it a try if you are playing Royal Paladins and you've become sick of playing Thingsaver Dragon the deck, because it's been how Royal Paladins have been since fall. But as for what will be happening with this deck, I do want to try out the Cray Elemental Unlocker, as it's a grade 2 that I can search off of Milas or Knight of Twin Sword or Starlight Violinist, and it'll be a bit helpful in the Link Joker matchup. I want to fit a Madu in here. I'll probably cut the Blizza for it, as while Blizza does allow me to swing for really big numbers, and sorry for bumping the camera, Madu allows me to just get back more strike fodder, and it's just there for when I am on Guarantee. As for what else you can expect on here. A couple of my friends are working on their stuff. One of my friends has Revengers / Diablo done, so maybe I can get a profile of his deck. And I do want to make a video talking about some of those future set releases and what I'd like to see out of them. Also, feel free to check out my blogspot, as I recently posted an article talking about have Narukami surpassed Kagero, and my reasons for such. And yeah, that's all I can say on here, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, this is Blue Star 99, jacking out.